Stop what you're doing.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Let's go. You're now tuned into the hottest show on the planet, The Smith Express Show.
Yo, what's cracking, my dude?
Not too
What's
much. I wasn't sure if you were hosting it or if I was hosting it, so I jumped on a live stream and then you didn't join. So I was like, I bet he just started a live.
Hey, what's cracking? What's good? Man.
Just chilling, working on my fitness app in the off time and being a new dad. So I guess this weekend will be my first Father's Day where I'm the father.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope, man. Hey, happy early Father's Day, man.
Thank you.
It's definitely an honor, man.
Yeah,
So look,
yeah,
look. So let's get straight into the questions. You feel me?
yeah. Let's do
All
it.
right. So people don't know where exactly were you
Oh,
from?
I'm from California.
California. That's dope. How's it like over there? Like, especially the area you from, or you know what I'm saying, you was raised.
Yeah,
How was that like?
it's pretty chill. I mean, the town that I live in is cool because it has a circus program. That's kind of how I started performing in the first place.
That's dope.
So, yeah, I was born in that town, but then I moved until I graduated high school, and then I came back to the town. So,
That's dope. That's dope. So look, being that you're so athletic, you know what I'm saying? Did you play sports growing up? Like, were you into any sports, any school sports?
yeah, yeah. So, aside from acrobatics, I did judo and I was in cross country, and I also was on the wrestling
Yeah.
team. And then I did Krav Maga after I graduated, kind of the same time when I jumped back into circus.
That's dope. That's dope. So like, how was like the track and cross country for you? Did
Cross
you?
country, honestly, like it's so much mental fortitude because you're doing the same thing constantly, It's not like wrestling where you got to like react to what the other person's doing to you. It's like, all right, I'm running in a straight line. Now there's a hill, and now I'm running downhill, and now I'm running around a corner. Like it's just very, I don't know. Like I
Yeah.
enjoyed it, but I enjoyed wrestling more. So
Oh, that's dope. Speaking of wrestling, what's your take on the wrestling, the whole WWF, WWE era? Was you a
oh,
fan of
bro,
that?
I know next to nothing about that kind of
Oh,
wrestling. I did
okay.
more actual like wrestling. Not that theirs isn't wrestling,
Oh,
but totally
my
different
fault, my fault. Sorry
style.
about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, you're
yeah.
good.
I apologize. So, like, you know what I'm saying? You growing up doing a lot of sports. How did you get into the whole acting and even modeling?
Yeah, yeah, there was a modeling school that was like calling random families, and my sister wanted to go to this modeling school. She was like, "Hey, if you have any kids or like teenagers, we'd love to see them." And it was kind of like a rip-off school, but my mom drove my sister and me there, and then I joined the school for about a month, and they had managers that would come in every other weekend to look at the clients, and one of them liked my look and my personality, and he's like, "But I want you to be an actor, not just a model, because you're too short."
Wow.
And so he made me do acting classes, and I was very shy at that time in my life. But acting really, really made me more of an extrovert because I was very like, I don't want to be in front of people. And now I don't really care.
Wow, that's dope. So, like, as far as modeling, what's some of the modeling stuff that you've done?
Yeah,
Like, as far as
yeah, I've done Adidas or Adidas, I guess is how it's pronounced in the UK, and I've done like Pepsi. I've done McDonald's. Fun. I did for like their smoothie, not like their burgers.
wow.
And what else did I do? Man, there's been a bunch. It's been over the years though, so it's hard to remember now going back in my brain. Modeling was kind of like towards the beginning, and then I've done more commercials and acting as I've moved forward.
Wow. So, I mean, seeing that you've done commercials and films and TVs, which one do you prefer? TVs or films? Like TV shows or films?
Honestly, I would be happy with either because media is so kind of all interconnected now. Like we watch our movies a lot on our televisions. It's not like movie theater, how it used to be cut and dry between the two.
Yeah.
So TV shows are cool because there's typically like, if you're on a good show anyway, more job security because you just keep renewing the seasons versus a movie, unless you get a sequel. Sometimes a movie's a one off and then like, I worked for 2 months, now I'm unemployed versus TV where you're like, I'm on this show for 7 months and then another season. So
Man, hey, that's what's so. Oh, well, okay. So the main thing, being the Red Ranger, how did that come about, and what was it like on the set of that
yeah,
for the Dino Charge?
I actually, at the time I booked Power Rangers, I quit acting. Like I sent in an email to my manager and agent, and I was like, look, I haven't booked a job in literally 2 years other than a modeling job. And I'm like, I can't make a living like this. So I was going to go to college and I was working at the San Diego Zoo as an acrobat 7 days a week for a summer gig. And then a friend of mine called me and he's like, hey, we used to go to acting class together and I haven't talked to you in 3 years, but they're auditioning for Power Rangers next to my audition. And I went and I told them that I have a friend who's a circus performer. They want to meet you. And then I was like, fine, I'll try the audition. And from there, I got callback after callback, and I ended up booking it. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not quitting acting. So,
Man. Wow. So I mean, was that a long process or a hard process, even getting back into the film, knowing you haven't worked in 2 years?
yeah, it was honestly, so my very first job in acting was CSI Miami, and it was a really small role. Like I filmed maybe 5, 10 minutes, and I was super excited though, because I was like telling all my friends I'm gonna be in, quite like a good chunk where you'll be able to see me, and they cut the scene to like one scene where I was in it for like 10 seconds. And I was so embarrassed because I didn't know they did that at the time. I was like a teenager just starting. And I thought if you filmed it, it made it in. I wasn't aware of how they cut it. And so now I barely tell anyone anything until I get to see it
Oh,
first because I'm afraid they're going to cut it or like recast me. And so even after I booked it, I wasn't like really happy until I saw the first few episodes air, knowing that they weren't going to be like, Brennan, the ratings, they just don't like you. So we're going to have to get a new rate. Like, so I was just afraid. I was like, watch, they're going to do something like that. And they didn't. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I get to stay. So
oh wow. And that's dope. So what was it like being on a set though? Like, did you need to know any kung fu, any special martial arts or anything?
it definitely helped. So our producer, Chip Lynn, asked us to basically email him any special physical skills we had.
Hmm.
And so like because I had acrobatic skills, because Yoshi was a stuntman, because James was a dancer, he would work those into certain episodes, letting us kind of play off of our strengths. So there's an episode where I ride a unicycle. There's an episode where I juggle. There's an episode where I do a handstand on a boulder. It's not like you had to have those skills, but
Hmm.
because I had those skills, I got to do a little extra. And if just for the fighting stuff, though, you have stunt doubles. I mean, it helps if you can fight, but it's not really a requirement like it was for Mighty Morphin when they were looking for actual martial artists.
That's crazy.
Thankfully, I also know some martial arts, but yeah.
Nah. And that's dope. So like, so when you went, you automatically had the fit for the Red Ranger, or did they give you a choice which color Ranger you wanted to be, or how was that?
They actually didn't let me know what ranger I was auditioning for. It was
Wow.
just kind of like these are the sides or basically your script that you're auditioning for all the male rangers, and then they had all the female rangers. And if you just read all the guys read the guy ones, all the girls read the girl ones, and then as you got to the callbacks, they started kind of differentiating who they wanted you to audition for. So I ended up auditioning for black and I think red were the only ones I auditioned for. But like Davi, our Gold Ranger, also auditioned for red. I never auditioned for blue. I never auditioned for green. But they asked me to bring a bunch of shirts, so I brought like every solid color Power Ranger esque T-shirt I had to the final callbacks, just so I could change and let them see me in different colors. But I didn't know who I was auditioning for until after the fact. Then looking back at the character types, and then I was like, oh, that was the Black Ranger. Oh, that was the Red Ranger. So.
And that's dope. So like, when you be going to the morph cons, do you still speak to the other Rangers, or you guys have a close
Yeah,
bond?
yeah. I mean, I don't speak to everyone all the time just because there was 10 of us. But Yoshi and I send messages to each other weekly. We were talking the other day, and he lives in Indonesia now, so we don't get to see each other obviously very much.
Oh,
But
wow.
we send each other memes about like working out and like just stupid jokes. And he watched my YouTube channel last week because I'm making no new Power Ranger content on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So he watched that and he's like, dude, that was awesome. Thank you so much. Love you, bro. Things like
Oh,
that.
that's dope. So like, even though the show is over, what about the whole? How do you feel about the reboot? And will you be a part of the new reboot that's happening next year?
Honestly, they're so tight-lipped about what they're actually doing. I mean, if they let us audition for the new one, I wouldn't be opposed to coming back, but I have a feeling they're gonna look for like teenagers again and like reboot.
Oh,
I mean, I have no idea. They don't share it. It's not like there's this giant Hasbro email chain to every Power Ranger, and they're like,
yeah.
"Hey, who wants to be in it?" Like,
That's dope. So like, look, another question I want to ask about the parent. Do you still have your original suit and helmet or no?
Not the originals, but I had a suit made afterwards, and I have a couple replica helmets. I have two Dino Supercharge helmets and two Dino Charge helmets.
That's dope. That's dope. So okay, I know you spoke about the CSI Vegas. But how you was also on a CSI Hawaii. How was that? Or was that too early on in your career?
Okay. So yeah, so I mean all these acronyms, right? So
Yeah.
NCIS
Yeah.
Hawaii, I've been doing stunts on it for the past few years because I double one of the main characters on the normal NCIS. So when they did the crossover, I got to go on the Hawaii one. And then this year, I think it was January, I went to Hawaii, this time not doubling anyone. I got to be my own character. So it was like a stunt acting role on
Awesome.
NCIS. And then I got back, and then a month later, I booked CSI Vegas, again, a stunt acting role. But I guess both of those shows are now canceled, which is unfortunate. But yeah,
Oh wow.
no, I'm,
Oh, hold on. Oh, another question. I see that you done iCarly as well, right? How,
yes.
how was that? And how was that cast? Like, and how did
I
that even come about? You come?
yeah, and Carly
What's
was
it?
cool, man. I mean, honestly, at the time, I was in the very first episode of iCarly, so it's not like I knew it was this popular show. I knew who
Oh,
Miranda Cosgrove was from other shows like Drake and Josh, and I think wasn't it School of Rock already on by that point, I believe, with
yeah.
Jack Black. So that audition was funny because it was literally like they were just looking for people with weird talents to write into the script, and so I can talk backwards. Like I actually can talk backwards, and so at the audition, they're like, "What can you do?" And I was like, "I don't know. I could say things backwards. What do you mean?" And I was like, "Point to," because they had a bunch of posters in the audition
uh,
room, and I
uh,
I, I could say any of these things backwards. So she'd be like, "Okay, say that," and I'd say it immediately or that, and then they wrote me into the script. My character's name was literally Brennan Yubberly,
wow.
so they let me keep my first name. And yeah, and then it was super cool being in it. And even though I was only ever in one episode, if you look at the original iCarly, like the opening credit song when the "Leave It All to Me" song is
Mhm.
playing, in the very end when everyone's dancing, I'm wearing a Roman helmet dancing like this, and I'm in every
Wow.
opening. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's hey that's right there is legendary. That right there is very epic. Because well, iCarly, that's a classic Disney show.
yep.
Everyone still tunes into it.
That,
Well, what about the
that's
reboot?
literally I auditioned for the revival, but I never got on it. But iCarly's the reason my TikTok is bigger than my Instagram presence because
Wow.
someone duetted me once they put it on Netflix. Someone was recording when I was talking backwards, and they're like, "Is he actually doing that?" And then a bunch of friends on TikTok were like, "You should duet that video," and I did. And then my TikTok just blew up, and I barely ever use TikTok. I'm bad about it.
Wow. So look, on another show well scene that you was on, I thought was pretty dope was American Horror Story.
hmm
How was that?
Again, first season, so
Mhm.
it wasn't like it was this giant conglomerate
Yeah.
franchise type thing that it is now. But that audition I got because I worked. Do you know what a pilot is?
Mhm.
Not like pilot, but yeah.
Yeah.
So for those who are tuning in, a pilot for TV, it's like a show that they're hoping to get picked up and turned into a series. So I was on a pilot that didn't get picked up, and the producer or one of them on that show was now producing American Horror Story, and they wanted me to audition for it because they were looking for like a young Hispanic guy to play the son in the season finale of Murder House.
Mhm.
And so I got the audition because of him. I still had to do the work. It wasn't like, "Hey, we're offering you this role," but it got me the chance to audition. And then it was actually Thanksgiving when I found out that I booked it. They called me during Thanksgiving lunch, and they're like, "Hey, you booked American Horror Story. You're going to work in a week." And so then I went
Wow.
and watched the whole series, and then yeah, there we go.
That's dope. So one of the dope unique things about you is that you've done a lot of voiceovers for
Mhm.
films and short films. Right? How did that come about? Even like how do you prepare yourself to even be voice ready
Yeah,
or know what the voice is going to be like?
honestly, some of it, it's like, so I've done a little bit of animation stuff. I really want to get into doing anime. Like, I would love to be a voiceover actor in anime. So fingers crossed. Um, but the little bit I've gotten to do, it's you typically get to see what the character looks like that you're going to voice. You know, the animation rendition is already there. or if it's Power Rangers, like you saw the scene filmed already because you have to do ADR and voice over yourself a lot, and then the suits because it's muffled and
Yeah.
the stunt actors are in there. But it's you get to do multiple takes, but you kind of just find I don't know. It's kind of like instinct to a degree, I guess. I can't really put my finger on it. It really depends on the role. If it's like an accent or something, yeah, then it's a little bit you got to work harder at it. But if it's just like you're playing this strawberry, then what does a strawberry sound like? I don't know. You can kind of just make it up. So,
So look, I mean, you got the fitness app that you're working on. Is
mhm.
there any details you could talk about or cannot talk about or
Yeah,
speak on?
yeah. No, yeah, appreciate it. So it's going to be hosted on the platform Tribe, Trybe,
Okay.
and then through that platform you can find me as your coach. I'm going to release it hopefully by the end of June, and I'm primarily doing body weight training stuff on it. I'll add weightlifting stuff later on if it does well, but I'm going to have a lot of free content on it as well for people to try. So a lot of tutorial videos. Oh, that's my dog, our
Oh, dang.
mailman's here. Sonic, it's okay, bud. Hey,
No,
shh.
no,
Hey, you're fine.
no.
Yeah, so
It's no.
it's going to be a lot of tutorials and stuff like that, and then teaching like handstands and flexibility, all that kind of good stuff.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. So I mean, besides that, last but not least, I don't want to hold you up too long. You got anything up and coming? Any up and coming shows, films, or
Yeah, yeah.
animation?
I mean, convention wise, I'll be at Ranger Stop coming up the weekend after Father's Day in Atlanta, and then some other cons. In regards to projects, I did this animated, talking about voiceover, I did an animated film called Ultra Duck, which hasn't come out yet. I believe it's coming out early next year, and it's the same people who produced Corrective Measures, the Bruce Willis movie I was in. So that's my first full length feature film that I got to lend my voice to. So hopefully it's the first of many because I want to do more voice stuff. But yeah, so keep your eyes open for those.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. Hey, you just spoke on that Bruce Willis film, and I saw the highlights of it. I didn't actually see the film. How
Sure.
did that come about? That looks so good. I'm gonna definitely check that out.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Listen.
on Tubi, so you can watch it for free. And that, honestly, again, I was about to quit acting, and I was praying about it, and I was like, I haven't booked an acting gig in like several months, and I was like, if I don't book a job that's a lead role by the end of this month, and I think it was like June, it was mid-June, I'm like, I'm quitting. Like, I'm gonna go to PT school, do something else. And then I got a call from a manager that I hadn't worked with in several years from Canada. And she's like, hey, there's this movie. They're looking to hire someone about your age. Do you want to audition for it? And I was like, sure. So I got private coaching for it, did the audition, and then I think 2 days later, I found out I booked it. And so I was like, okay, I guess I'm not quitting acting. So there I
That's
was
dope.
again. Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. I know you gotta go, but one last thing I want to ask for those that is tuning in, you got any encouraging words for those that want to get into the acting or modeling or try to accomplish some of the great things you've accomplished?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, enjoy the journey, not just the destination, because you cannot control when you're on set, when you get an audition. You can only control the effort you put in towards those things.
Yeah.
And so much of it's out of your hands. And if you're only happy when you're working, you're not going to be happy very often. So enjoy every day, not just the days where you're like, I'm succeeding, because success really is in the eye of the beholder. And if you have a passion for performing, find other ways to fulfill that creative outlet. Make your own stuff for YouTube, make your own stuff for, TikTok or Instagram. Just film stuff with friends, take acting classes, but it's not like you're only an actor when you're getting paid. You're an actor if you're performing and you enjoy it and you're passionate for it. So
That's dope. That's dope. Hey, there you guys have it. The big homie Brennan Mejia. Definitely an honor, my dude. For real, for real. Big fan.
appreciate it.
Definitely keep it up. All
All
right.
right. Take care.
Take care, boss.